Malacanang, cabinet secretaries and the entire budget department throwing their full support behind embattled DBM Secretary Benjamin Diokno. This after House members questioned Diokno's integrity over alleged insertions in the 2019 budget proposal. Bim Santos has the story.
DBM employees wore black during their flag retreat as a sign of solidarity with their embattled Secretary Benjamin Diokno. This comes after Congress adopted a resolution filed by Minority Leader Danilo Suarez asking President Rodrigo Duterte to recall Diokno's appointment. Before the resolution, Congress grilled Diokno for almost 3 hours regarding the 2019 budget proposal. Suarez alleged Diokno favored budget allocation to Casiguran and Sorsogon because her daughter was married to the son of the town's local executives. Majority Leader Rolando Andaya meanwhile grilled Diokno on the so-called multi-billion insertions in the 2019 budget of the DPWH. Diokno disputed both allegations.
Disrespectful, ganun. Kasi we're a co-equal chamber. I was already warned na they will provoke me to lose my temper and I will be held in contempt. So, di ba, held in contempt. If kukulong ka, hindi nila ako pinapasagot ng questions, di ba? They will ask questions, hindi nila ako pinapasagot. That's really disrespect.
Diokno also cried foul that her daughter was dragged into the issue.
Yan yung pa yun na masakit, di ba? My daughter is a professional, di ba? She has a PhD. At saka, mali talaga. There are really lies.
The palace also expressed dismay with how Diokno was treated by some lawmakers.
We will decline any invitation if we feel that they will be repeating the same kind of treatment that a member of Congress would suffer in the process. Number two, we will go there if invited, but the moment any sign of disrespect is given a member of the cabinet, we will excuse ourselves.
Panelo noted in particular how Andaya treated Diokno. In addition to the palace, cabinet secretaries also expressed support for Diokno. Cabinet secretaries noted the disrespect and utter lack of courtesy displayed by the House of Representatives toward Diokno. The cabinet said they all vouch for Diokno's honesty, integrity, and competence. Bim Santos, We Are One News.
Based on the Senate's timetable, a reenacted budget will likely be in place next year. The country last had a reenacted budget 9 years ago when House Speaker Gloria Macapagal Arroyo was president. We have Bim Santos live to tell us how this might affect the Philippine economy. Bim, policymakers say the reenacted budget could threaten the implementation of the administration's infrastructure plans. What do you say?
Well, per the estimate of the economic team, specifically the NEDA, they said that GDP could be cut by 1.1 to 2.3%, basically preventing them from reaching the 7 to 8% GDP growth target. In terms of the DBM, they estimate that budget disbursements could be reduced by around 200 billion pesos. But that's operating on a reenacted budget for the entire year. I asked Budget Secretary Ben Diokno earlier what are the implications of a reenacted budget for the first quarter. He said that they have yet to do the math on that regard. But in terms of the infrastructure push, certainly they will lose certain momentum that they really need at this point, as a reenacted budget for the first few months of the year would mean an implementation gap in terms of starting along on their projects under the Build program.
And it's not just about the size of the budget. A reenacted budget could and should have some impact on the flexibility of government. Can they, for example, realign based on priorities as they've developed over the year?
Budget Secretary Diokno also said earlier that they're preparing to issue guidelines that they will issue next week to implementing agencies on how to proceed with the reenacted budget. What they said was for the first few months, the reenacted budget will basically cover salaries and wages as well as maintenance and other operating expenditures, meaning project expenditures will not be covered for the first few months, meaning the projects that have been implemented last year, of course, will not be covered by the reenacted budget for the first quarter. Although there was, I think, a proposal floated by Senator Mig Zubiri where they're thinking of inserting a provision in the expenditure bill that will exempt infrastructure projects from being covered by the election ban once, if they meet their timetable of passing the 2019 budget by the February or by February at the latest. Robbie?
Okay, Bim Santos, thank you for joining us.